Well, which paragraph is easier to write? An introduction or a conclusion? Ideally, they'll both be easy to write because you'll wait till the end to write both paragraphs. Uh, that's the idea with a conclusion is that when you get to the end of the essay, you're done arguing, and all you need to do is just basically restate that main idea one time and give a final thought. That hopefully that's not too hard to do. Um, you really only need a couple sentences here to achieve these two goals of restating the main idea and giving a final thought. The feedback that I most often give to students about their conclusions is that one, they feel the need to go over all the subpoints in an essay. If you have a 3-page essay, after 3 pages, people can remember what you said on page 2. You don't need to remind them of everything. And also, the concluding paragraph is not the place to bring up new evidence in support of your main idea. That's what body paragraphs are for. Just restate the main idea and give a final thought. Generally, we expect writers to do things in that order. The first sentence gives the restatement, and then we get into the final thought. Well, what do we mean by final thoughts here? There's really so many pieces of writing out there, but these tend to fall into particular patterns. First, you get predictions. What now that we know this, what's going to happen in the future? Think of the modal verb will, right? Well, what will happen? You might give a suggestion. Now that we know what we know, what's your advice for readers? Think about modal verbs like should or ought to. You could do a call to action. There's some problem that you've been talking about here, and now you want the people to rise up and do something about it. Picture yourself standing on a soapbox, trying to incite people to move. Think about a modal verb like must. We also get things like suggestions for further research or reading. What should the next group of scientists who study this topic try to find out? This is particularly common for scientific journal articles. Relevant quote always works well, or as Darwin once said. One of my favorite devices is you tell a story in the introduction and then you loop back and you update it at the end. All right, so in the beginning of the essay, we heard about this problem this one person was having. Well, now a little bit later on, what's going on, right? We heard about some people who are getting married. All right, well, now let's get an update on the marriage. How are things going? Let's now see if we can look at some examples of conclusions from our source material and identify the examples that we see.